Hi everyone, I'm Meta Gorup and I'm one of the co-editors of the book Why the World Needs Anthropologists. Today I'm speaking to Tanja Winther. Hi Tanja.
Hi.
Tanja, you have had perhaps a bit of an atypical career as an anthropologist because you started out in studies in power engineering and then decided to do a PhD in anthropology. Why did you decide to make this transition?
Well, had I known what social anthropology was from the start, perhaps I hadn't done that little tour towards power engineering first. But I was really genuinely interested in energy, solar energy and Africa and development and so on. And I also had a little, maybe after having been provoked or at least having realized that technologies matter and that it is important also to learn about technology. So I had kind of double incentive to going into engineering, and then later discovering anthropology and seeing how this can be combined rather than going for a single discipline. So it wasn't planned at all, but it has given me some kind of different perspectives that I try to combine in the research. So it seems to have been some fruitful developments following that double path in a way.
Mm-hmm. And even though you made this transition from engineering to anthropology, as you say, you kind of have a double perspective, right? And you have continued working with engineers, and you have also been part of multiple interdisciplinary teams of various compositions. And in your chapter, you argued that anthropologists are actually very important for interdisciplinary teams. So I wanted to ask you why.
Yes, I think we really make up kind of balance towards, the dominating approaches, either from an economical perspective, how to make things efficient, always the big picture, and the engineers doing their things and having of course, an important role. But I think the anthropological take that, any type of actor is interesting to us. So coming with this openness towards how what is really going on by looking at things from different perspectives. That is really what fieldwork and so on to me is about, is to getting these different views up, and then also having this critical view upon how is then this structure working and who are positioned in what way. So it's really a kind of, I think the anthropological method and can be used to understand any concept or social phenomenon at large. And so because we are now in this, this phase of transition towards sustainability, to getting rid of poverty, all these things are so much pressing now, they are urgent. And that's why I think having this, the focus, the qualitative focus on the various perspectives in the phase, so as also to achieve solutions that can be accepted, that are fair and so on, rather than trying out things and discovering after 5 or 10 years they did not work, So having anthropologists on board who can have this critical and empathic at the same time eye and getting them the multiple voices heard from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And this actually relates to my next question, I guess, because you initiated and you are currently leading Include, which is the Research Center for Social Inclusive Energy Transitions. And so I wanted to ask, what kinds of problems are you focusing on in this project? And also what the role of anthropologists is in promoting and implementing social inclusive energy transitions.
Right. Yes. So Include, we got so lucky, funding for 8 years, and we have many partners, many disciplines, social science disciplines. And our overall ambition is to understand how this transition to a low carbon society can be achieved in a socially inclusive way. So meaning that we pay attention to distribution of costs and benefit in this whole picture, who are benefiting, who are losing out, who are involved in the processes, and who are not recognized as a stakeholder in the process. So it is exactly this, of trying to ask that question also as solutions are beginning to emerge, rather than coming after and seeing how things went wrong or were not effective and so on. And anthropologists will have, as we work interdisciplinary and become a kind of group, we tend to not also focus on, what discipline did you start from, but in a way we share these interests. So there will be some political scientists looking at this aspect from their angle, and then having anthropologists also out in the field. But we also have colleagues who've been, being trained in economy and having worked together with us for a while, we tend to forget who started out in what discipline. So it's more the approach to things rather than, who we are, as defined as a discipline. Mm-hmm. But it's really and it's a young and very enthusiastic group. So we are very excited about this proposal. The project coming now with 12 PhDs, and we get to do so many things.
Oh wow! Good luck with the project.
Yes, thank you. And we also search all the time for new collaborations, within the group. This is not one thing to be going on forever, in itself, but also to have to reach out and make proposals with other environments.
Mm-hmm. Right. So my final question actually has to do with one of the tips that you give to anthropologists at the end of the chapter, especially to those who are interested in making a difference. And you suggest that anthropologists should put effort into translating complex anthropological findings into concrete recommendations for policymakers and for other practitioners. And what I'm curious about is, are there any challenges that come with it, or any specific challenges that you've experienced, and how would you advise to resolve those kinds of challenges?
Yes, I do think it's important that we engage more with policymakers, so that it is not only other disciplines being listened to when they make up new policies. At the same time, I think that our key dilemma is that we want to be context sensitive. We find our findings are always contextualized. And so how to make those general recommendations based on single, for example, a case study. How can you provide the recommendations back to the World Bank if you have only one case study, So that is a kind of key, I think, always coming back to us. But so as the solutions for that, I think being a bit structured in a way, of planning different projects so that they all build up to some kind of same storyline, or you find, rather than having those very single studies, to have a kind of a consortium of things that can be done. So your knowledge base is actually also broader, and you can compare also across contexts. And if you can do that, it's also possible to say something more general. And I think really we should become also more daring. Like I think where Thomas Hylland Eriksen has been, the perfect spokesperson for anthropology, making his voice so much heard in the public debate. Although he hasn't also done every kind of fieldwork or cross-comparing analysis, but he has kind of this voice out back to the public, and also that, and from there also to policymakers. I think those individuals who are really suited to engage in that dialogue are very welcome, and we should maybe all strive a little bit more to do that.
Thank you, Tanja, for sharing your perspectives and for the useful advice.